So we are really excited to share with our KiwiSaver members about our new partnership we've got with Altered Capital. And so today in front of me, I've got McGregor, who is the managing partner at Altered. McGregor,
G'day, Mike. Lovely to be here.
perhaps if you could give us maybe just some very short, who is Altered Capital and what you guys do?
We were founded from success in international venture markets, and as all Kiwis, we had the aspiration to move back to New Zealand and unlock the potential that was latent in New Zealand, and to essentially release the ambition of New Zealand's founders. So we returned home and started Altered Capital just 4 years ago, and launched a venture capital fund here in New Zealand. That first fund was $100 million, and the key strategies aligned with that fund are to take a really concentrated approach in a group of really high conviction, really high quality New Zealand businesses that are exporting their exceptional products to the world. We have a very high bar for entry for founders. We look to partner with them in a material way. We provide substantial capital and human resource to help them out, and with that we seek to drive performance for our investors. That is ultimately why everybody chooses to invest in Altered Capital, to deliver returns.
Yeah, probably this is a good segue to talk to our KiwiSaver members about the purpose of going in or making an investment into Altered. So this will be going into our KiwiSaver Aggressive Fund, and part of the reason for going into the Aggressive Fund is because, just as you've explained, it is a concentrated portfolio, and so that will mean that the risk is slightly higher than a more diversified venture capital fund. The other thing about why we're using a VC fund as opposed to being all in bonds or stocks is that it just gives our investors access to a different asset class, which we can't really obtain through the equity market. We can then, through Altered, invest in businesses, New Zealand businesses, and global businesses as well, or businesses based here that are global, that allow us to invest in a company without worrying about what the share price is going to do on a daily basis. And typically as well, the VC space does deliver higher returns over a longer period than you might get from, well, certainly from bonds, but often from equities as well. So we kind of touched on the background of Altered, but perhaps if you could give us a little bit of example of maybe the track record or one or two of the types of businesses that you've invested in.
Yeah, sure. And the track record from our team spans back, international experience in the most competitive markets in the world, as I mentioned. So, we looked after a multi-billion-dollar venture fund based out of London with investments in Western Europe and Silicon Valley. And that fund, delivered more than 40% gross IRR, over its lifetime, whilst our founding team managed it. And Fund 1, which we launched as our first product back in New Zealand, our first fund in New Zealand, is tracking to a similar level. So, that is comprised primarily of New Zealand companies. Some companies which Pi Funds members may be familiar with would be the likes of Crimson, First Table, Emerge, Starboard, Oratame. These are all really high pedigree New Zealand companies which are performing very well on a global stage.
One of the things that attracted me to Altered so much is that it's a founder-led business, and that you guys have significant skin in the game. But can you give us a bit of a background as to why that's so important?
That is something also that we very much like about yourself and about Pi Funds, is that you are outspoken about the proven academic research of founder-led businesses outperforming. That's our thesis, investing in others as well. Of course, we are backing what we believe to be the most exceptional founders in New Zealand. And we take that ethos, ourselves as well. We're massive subscribers to the founder-led outperformance thesis, and we look to, put that to work in our own business as much as possible.
And this is also going to be a long-term partnership, because these types of funds, they're not not something that we trade, and typically it's somewhere between 5 to 10 years. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly right. And it's why the aggressive fund and Altered Venture is a really good partnership. The companies that we're investing most commonly are growing in the triple digits year on year. That means that performance can be really exceptional over a long-term horizon. And investors in Python's aggressive KiwiSaver fund have self-selected for the requisite patience and discipline and competence to know that that's how investing works, and that compounding growth is not a linear game. Understanding that this partnership is one that's not an in and out partnership, that we're investing in companies to really grow them for the long term and be rewarded as a result of having that partnership. That really underpins this whole game.
Thanks, McGregor, for giving some insights to our KiwiSaver members. I'm really looking forward to the long-term relationship that we're going to be building in the next 5 to 10 years, and I think we can feel really confident about the partnership with these two firms.